Hello sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of Moose Franchise. Today, we're going to have the offseason. So, a couple things before we get into the video. The first thing is I'm sorry I have not posted on this channel in so long. I've been super busy posting on my main channel with it being football season. But now that football season's over, I've got a lot more time, so I'm going to try to post on this channel at least once a week. And the second thing is this video you're about to see, the offseason, was recorded way back in the summer, I think in July. So if it sounds different, sorry about that, because I did get a new mic between then and now. So if this sounds better than the actual video does, sorry about that, but all my videos going forward will be using this mic, so they should sound a lot better. So we have finished Season 1. We made it all the way to the Championship Series, although ended up losing in 4 games to the Platypus. Now this video is going to be the off-season. We'll have to make a lot of decisions about how we want to improve this team, who we want to bring back, who we don't. And that starts with player re-signing. But that is what the playoff bracket looked like. And let's just get right into player re-signing. I believe we can go back. Yeah, you can. Oh, okay. Irene Fast is retiring. No. I don't know what this is. Why you can re-sign her, but it's got an X instead releasing. Not sure. Although Fast is 38, so definitely could retire. But to explain this real quick, a player's loyalty, as we see here, it essentially is, it goes up and down based on decisions you've made, how much they play, how much they don't play, stuff like that. And the higher their loyalty, the more likely they are to re-sign at their current salary, which you see over in the far left column. So, someone like Roman Rhodes, he wants $7 million, whereas he was on a contract of $5.5 million. Whereas someone more loyal, like Perry Quaker, it stays the same. Or Rock Casey. Or Reese Sandoval. Nacho Crisp. You guys get the point. So we got to go through, make decisions about everybody. And the first one is very tough. I've been thinking about the catcher position, and Pedro Nixon obviously is a very good hitter. He had a very nice season. He hit 317, 8 homers, 21 RBIs, and then in the playoffs at 432 with 3 homers and 12 RBIs. But he's not very good in the field. Obviously, his fielding rating is only 35, and his arm is at 52, although it seems a lot worse, because he can never throw anyone out. But I do like him and what he can do at the plate. He's also a switch hitter. So I do want to bring him back, and we can bring him back at his current salary. But now, Roman Rhodes, he is better in the field. The arm isn't anything too crazy, but he's not great as a hitter. I mean, he didn't play a ton. He only played 13 games. He did hit 396, but a very small sample size. And then he didn't play at all in the playoffs. So I think we're going to offer him his current salary. And obviously, if we offer them the current salary, they either say yes or no. He might say no, because it's a pretty big difference, although he is 75% interested in re-signing. So let's see. And Roman Rhodes is going to re-sign. He hesitantly accepts the offer. Now, Kingsley Jones, obviously he was great in the playoffs, was probably our best hitter. He's 86% chance he'll re-sign, but he does want some more money, because the loyalty's not too high. And he's obviously a player just 21 years old, got a very bright future, and he's a player I'm comfortable giving the extra money to. So we'll do that. Quaker is at the same. Rock Casey stays the same. Rip Dingers wants to go up by $300,000. And I mean, we can do that, but I mean, it's really not a huge difference. Sandoval will re-sign at the same price. Same thing with Nacho Crisp and Buck Swanner. Now, Stallion Johnson, wants to go up, increase his salary by about $600,000. And, I mean, he's a good player. He's 21 years old, very fast. Power and contact are solid, nothing too crazy, but, I mean, he was pretty solid this year, hit 271. And then, in the playoffs, actually played a lot more, played 9 playoff games, as opposed to 14 regular season games. And he hit 442 in the playoffs with 5 homers, 13 RBIs. Although, the playoff stats, like the average and stuff, is a lot higher because, for some reason, when I hit, we got like 20 hits a game. Whereas when the computer hits, we get like a normal amount of hits per game. But Stallion Johnson, I would like to keep him on the team, but it's not a must. We're going to offer him at his current salary, and hopefully he comes back. 96% interest, and he has accepted the offer eagerly. Hieronymus Jackson is a player we might move on from. I mean, he's pretty solid, but we'll re-sign him for now. Tremendo, oh boy. He wants a big increase, and he was pretty bad. I mean, obviously he's great in the field, 98 arm, 85 fielding. And power and speed aren't terrible. He just doesn't really do much. I mean, he hit 241, which I believe is worst on the team. 1 homer, 7 RBIs in the regular season. He was a lot better in the playoffs, hitting 420 with 5 homers and 22 RBIs. But he's still not great. And we're going to try to get him back at his current salary. And Tremendo always declined. He declines and leaves the team. Interesting. Now, Irene Fast, I don't know why there's already an X here. Okay, I don't know why that was there. But Fast is re-signing. Jared Payne is our most expensive player. We're paying him $17.4 million, but we'll bring him back, obviously, because he's that good. Now, Rhiannon Cannon wants an extra $700,000, and because she's that good, we'll give it to her. Strikes will stay the same. Cut stiff, man, cut stiff is tough because obviously didn't have great numbers in the regular season. An ERA of 12, WHIP of 2.48. In the playoffs, it was a lot better. And even though we lost Game 4 of the championship series, she was really good. And I definitely think she's got a future on this team. An extra $500,000. She does seem pretty eager to come back. So we're going to try to get her back at the current salary. Please come back. Let's go. Eagerly accepts the offer. That's big. Farmhand wants an extra $100,000, although he's not that good. We're going to try his current salary. And he should have resigned 99% interest, and he does accept the offer instantly. Best, his salary stays the same. Tolbert, that's a pretty big increase, and really struggled in the playoffs, allowed some big hits. An ERA over 12 in the playoffs. And, we might just release her, but we're going to first offer the current salary, although I'm not too hopeful about this. Let's see. And Tolbert, yeah, decides to leave the team, which I'm not too mad about because she wasn't very good. Wilkinson is a guy I want back, and Klaus the Game wants an extra $400,000. And he's a player who didn't really pitch much. He pitched in 11 games in the regular season, ERA of 1.54. And in the playoffs, 2 games, did not allow a run. So he is really good. And we've got some money to spend, so we'll just go right there. Now, the money you guys have probably noticed in the top right corner, there's 2. The top one is your salary cap, and then the bottom one is your player development. The extra salary cap money you have goes towards the player development after each game. If we go here over to economy, it explains it. The budget, and then it finds your surplus, and then it divides it by the amount of regular season games you have, and that's determines the amount of player development funds you get per game. But that is player re-signing. We got 2 players to replace Jose Tremendo and Carlo Tolbert, and we will start the offseason. And the offseason, there is no draft. There is just 32 rounds of free agents and free agency. And we got some really good players as free agents. We've got 6 players they're highlighting now, but they're asking for a ton of money. I mean, Asan is asking for $36.6 million. That is absurd. And now, I have played a few off-seasons in this, not in Moose franchise, but off-camera of franchises. And you definitely want them to wait for their salary to come down. Usually, teams don't start making moves until around round 10, as they wait for the salaries to come down. Because, I mean, you look at these guys, they're asking for an extra $15+ million. and no team can afford that. So, that is how the offseason usually plays out, and they do also add young players to the free agent pool. If you filter by age, you'll see all these 19-year-olds. These are all probably new. Yeah, like this guy's a rookie, never played. Like some of these guys obviously better than others. Like you've got some players who are an A minus, and others are a C minus. Obviously, big difference in how good they are. But that's how they put new young players into the free agent pool. But we have a lot of good free agents. We've got 3 S-rated pitchers, another A-plus rated pitcher, an A-plus outfielder, Beefcake McStevens, guy we're very familiar with. Saw him a lot in the championship series. And we're trying to see if anyone really stands out. I mean, a lot of players really good, and also asking for a ton of money. Like, somebody who's a B plus is asking for $29 million, which is absurd. The most expensive is Ason, not surprisingly, one of the best players in the game. He wants $36 million, and you compare that to a D-rated starter reliever who's also old, who wants under $1 million, which is that's the lowest I've ever seen. Now, you can also watch players, and that essentially notifies you in this list of the news if they change their asking salary, and a lot of them do. Or they all do, actually. But now, players we need to try to figure out position-wise. So I do want to filter this by position. Catchers, we could go after a catcher. Joe Mauer, obviously a very, very good one. Jaquez often also good, although he's old at 37. But, I mean, he fits everything we want. Good at the plate, good in the field. But even somebody a little younger, like a Anson Madden, is interesting. The arm's still not great, though. Got a young catcher right here. 19 years old, Hippie Blevins. A B. Definitely gives us some options, although none of them seem truly amazing. This guy, Caden Downtown, doesn't seem that bad. But I'm going to go through, we're going to take a look at all the players in free agency, and I'll add some to our watch list, and then I'll update you guys on who they are, and then we'll go about the offseason that way. Alright, so I've added a lot of players to our watch list, I guess we can call it. Joe Mauer is the first. I mean, he's obviously a really good player. He is very expensive, though, $25 million. But great arm, great behind the plate, good bat. One of the best catchers available, probably the best catcher available. Caden Downtown is the guy I briefly talked about. He's got good power, good speed, and a good arm. Contact and fielding is not great, but I'd be willing to live with that. The next guy added to our board is another catcher, Jock Often. He's another guy who really does everything. He's even fast for a catcher, although asking for $29 million. Next guy added to our target board, or watch list, whatever we want to call it, is Juice Jackson. He's only 23 years old. He's already an A+, 99 power, 94 contact. We don't need a third baseman or a shortstop, but with how good he is, I just want to watch him. And if he stays available for a long time, I mean, I love Rip Dinger's Nacho Crisp, but we might need to consider moving on. Hanzo Magiko, he is pretty much Reese Sandoval. They're both players who can play literally every position besides catcher. Although, Magiko not quite as good as a batter, but he is a super utility guy. Great arm, great fielding, pretty fast as well. So if he becomes kind of cheap, might want to see if we can swap him for Sandoval as a better defensive guy. Although, I don't hate Sandoval at all. Next guy we're watching is a center fielder, Jada Christian. Just 19 years old, an A-, at 79 power, 60 contact, 96 speed, good in the field. That's one of those young players really want to keep an eye on. The next guy on the target board or watch list, whatever we're gonna call it, is Tish Baldwin. Good in the field, good arm, good power, pretty fast as well. Just 23. And then Dolph Stake, he is fast, great outfielder, an okay hitter, but he is a really good defender, can also play first base. And then Bo Belter, he is pretty much the opposite of Dolph Stake. Elite at the plate, not so good in the field, but still a really good player. Jackie Slam, one of the best players available, at an A+. There's not really a weakness here. I mean, everything's at least 65. Plus, she's an RBI hero and an ace exterminator. So, one of the best players available. And then, Jose Tremendo, by the way, wants $27 million. I don't know who's giving him that. That's why he'll probably realize that's too unrealistic, and will come down to probably like $10 million and get signed there. Which is still an overpay, but it's something. And then Dwight Evans, he's another really solid player. Is 35 years old and older, but very well-rounded. And then Jack Clark, another guy who's 39. He's old, but he can be okay. And then we get to the pitchers. There is definitely some great starting pitchers available, although we don't really need starters, but I mean, if we look at some of these guys and they are getting a lot cheaper, maybe we'll go after them. But I didn't add any to our target board. Then, if we scroll down to the relievers, which is the next we've got on our board, I just added this guy, Dur Neverwalker, to our board because he's an S tier player at just 22 years old. Then Steamboat Whistle, he is really good. He's 29. He is a right-handed pitcher, elite four-seam fastball, plus 87 velocity. Can probably get it well over 102, 103. He's a good player. Tolbert over here asking for $18 million. Close to 19, actually. And then I think we got a couple more. No, that's it. Well, obviously, we're going to keep an eye on everybody who's available. And we're going to start and advance to round 2. And wow, we got signings already. That never happens. But the originators bring in Kenna Coran? I don't know who that is. See, Jackie Slam lowers their asking salary by $7 million. The Nemesis make a signing. Malware lowers his asking salary. The Nemesis make another signing. And then we've got other guys lowering their asking salary. We're not going to go through every signing every other team makes, because it ends up being a lot as the offseason progresses. But, I mean, a lot of these guys lowering their asking salary by $5-6 million. Except somebody like Jack Clark, who's not too outrageous to begin with. But so far, all the guys we've potentially been looking at are all still available and all getting a little bit more affordable. So 8 transactions were made by other teams. And I still don't really think we're going to make any moves at this point. I mean, there's still 3 S-rated players available. Everyone's now under $30 million, but like the cheapest guy on our board is, I think, 9.7 or something like that. We just saw 9.5, Jack Clark. I would like to see if we can try to wait longer, and we're going to advance to the next round. And here we have 2 transactions made by other teams. Again, we see guys lower their asking salary. Beowulf make a signing. And the Sawteeth make a signing. Now, something to note, I believe the salary, so 8.4 and 5.9 million with Tremendo and Tolbert is already taken out of the $14.9 million we have to spend. Right, let's just try to use something that we know is not going to work. Yeah, we're too short. Because, yeah, so we do have only about $15 million to spend between these 2 players. So maybe we try to shuffle around some guys and try to find a cheaper version of somebody like a Maybe we try to see if we can get Hanzo Magiko for cheaper than Reese Sandoval. Maybe we try to see if we move on for Hieronymus Jackson, who is overpaid in my opinion. Maybe we try to see if we can get something like that and see if we can get them cheaper. So I do want to be able to develop our players and not just be somebody who relies on elite players right now. Here we had no transactions made by other teams. And these guys are still lowering their asking salaries, although definitely the rate they're lowering them at has decreased. Although Hanzo Magiko, he's already down to $11 million. And if we want to compare him to somebody like a Reese Sandoval, Magiko, I believe, is a shortstop. Yeah, here he is. This isn't going to do it, right? Alright, good. So Magiko is more expensive right now. Both are B-minus players who can play every position. Obviously, Sandoval is 3 years older, although both are pretty young. But Sandoval is the better hitter, but Magiko faster and significantly better in the field. But I still think we're going to hold off on making any moves. I mean, everyone is still here that we are interested in. And we're going to move on to round 5. And again, no transactions. We continue to see guys lower their asking salary. A lot of these are still pretty expensive. Hayden downtown, if he can get to like $5 million, I might swap him for Roman Rhodes. But otherwise, these are still fairly expensive. We're going to advance to the 6th round. And one transaction was made by another team. Like now these guys lowering it by roughly $600 to $800. Magiko is now under $10 million. And Greg Vaughn was the one guy signed. But still think we're going to hold off on making any moves right now. Definitely nice to see these guys are getting slightly more affordable. Round 7, no transactions were made. Magiko is now getting very close to Reese Sandoval territory. Sandoval is at 8.2, Magiko is at 8.7. I think we're going to make that move. We don't really use Sandoval for his bat. We use it for his defense. And if we can get a super utility guy who's elite defensively, that would be really nice. But now, I do want to see if we can maybe get a replacement for Hieronymus Jackson. Because, I mean, yeah, he's pretty solid. He's got good power. 89 power, contact's okay, but just not amazing. I mean, 32 is not necessarily old, but he is one of the older players on the team. He is, yeah, one of the older players, and I mean, he is also fairly expensive. I'm not saying he's amazing, but he's not. He shouldn't be the 5th highest paid player on the team. Because he's a DH who's solid, and I think we're just overpaying him, so I do think we might want to move on from him. So we advance the round here. No transactions made. Now Magiko is actually cheaper than Reese Sandoval. Downtown Upton getting towards the 5 million range, which I believe is that Roman Rhodes is at 5.5 million. Yeah, these guys definitely looking more affordable. And real quick, with the talking about potentially releasing Hieronymus Jackson and replacing him, he was primarily our DH, but I do think we should have Perry Quaker in the lineup more with how good he's been. I think he could potentially see some time at DH, and also Pedro Nixon if we get a catcher who is better in the field. We can have Nixon still have his bat in the lineup. And that could be what we do at DH. So we don't even need somebody elite to replace Hieronymus Jackson. Alright, again, no transactions were made. And here's about where you start to see teams go crazy. Like, usually as you start to get to round 10, 11, 12, you'll see a lot of transactions made. So if we see anybody right now who we really want to go get, I do want to try to be aggressive right here. Even if we end up slightly overpaying for him, Magiko is down to $7.5 million. But even if we do end up slightly overpaying for somebody, and we could have gotten them later, I do just want to make sure we can get them. And that's what we're going to do with Reese Sandoval and Hanzo Magiko. Magiko is now cheaper. We're going to have more money to play around with. He's better in the field. He's also got the Magic Hands trait, which decreases the chance he'll miss a catch when diving, jumping, or sliding. But we are going to make this move. This is going to be our first move of the offseason. Reese Sandoval, I like him, but Hanzo Magiko, cheaper, younger, better in the field. And that's our first signing of free agency. They say Reese Sandoval offended a Moose coach and was replaced by Hanzo Magiko. But we do lose 30 power, 29 contact, but we gain 29 speed, 58 fielding, and 36 arm. So, all things considered, I do think it's worth it. Now, if there's anybody we really want to go get right now, I want to go do it, although I don't think so right now. I mean, a lot of these guys are still on the more expensive side that we are watching. Man, Jada Christian, just $11.8 million. When you're that good, oh man, we might try to go make a move right here. Maybe for Hieronymus Jackson? The salaries are somewhat similar, but we're losing 10 power. Contact is pretty much the same. We're getting better in the field, better speed, and the arm is pretty similar. Or if we want to do that for Tremendo, then we're paying a lot of money right there. But that's going to happen anyway, as we try to replace Tremendo. And that's tough. If we wait any longer, she might be gone. And we'll still have Stallion Johnson and Irene Fast. They'll probably rotate at right field, because Christian is a player who you'd want in the lineup pretty much every day with how good she is. And, man, I don't know if we want to wait any longer. 11.8, that came down a lot from what they started at. You know, we're going to do it right here. Going to be our second move here. And Hieronymus Jackson's going to get released for Jada Christian. That is our second move. Hieronymus Jackson is off the team. And we're going to advance to round 10. And no team made a transaction, so we could have kept waiting. But we do need to look for relievers. That's the big thing. Relievers and somebody to replace Jose Tremendo. Now, because we got Jada Christian, Tremendo, if we can find somebody who's really good in the field and really fast, I'll take that. I mean, it doesn't even have to be really anybody, now that we've got Magiko who's good in the field and fast. We can go try to find somebody who's insanely cheap. Like, maybe we go sign Lars Static Leaf. But maybe that's the plan. Like, maybe we just try to find somebody who's just okay. And I don't really plan on spending a ton to replace Tremendo. We're going to keep advancing here. And again, no transactions. These teams really waiting a while. But now these players aren't really lowering their salary by as much. I mean, maybe $200 to $300, but they really want to get paid. An area where I do want to spend money is replacing Carl Tolber. I do think we can get better in the bullpen. And I mean, Tolber wasn't terrible. The velocity and junk was pretty good. The accuracy wasn't great. and for some reason just could never get the big outs. I mean, obviously, we saw the numbers before; they're not great. In the regular season, wasn't terrible, although did allow a 3.14 average against, and I mean a 4.79 ERA isn't great. But it's not terrible either. Although what was terrible is the playoffs. Allowed more runs than innings. Opponent average of 400. It was not good. Now, do we want to go after an S tier reliever like Dur Neverwalker? Oh, I just realized. This guy must have like 0 walk. Oh, I just did not mean to do that. I was trying to view his career. Oh, he's a liar. He's walked 17 people this year. Dur Neverwalker? More like Dur, I walk a player every time I pitch. Okay, maybe not quite. He threw 28 games, 17 walks, but that is kind of a lot of walks for someone whose name is Neverwalker. But let's just take a look at these relievers real quick. Steamboat Wissell is an option. I mean, that fastball I talked about before, or at least I think I talked about him. It's going to play to 100 plus with the elite 4-seam trait having a minor effect. John Franco, or Franco, whoever you say his name, is an option as well. But he's a lefty. But we've definitely got our options in the bullpen. Joseph Brosev is an option. I mean, I do want to get somebody pretty good. But we've got a lot of options. So I do want to keep waiting a little bit. Round 12, there goes Dur Neverwalker to the B-Wolves, getting signed for $17.7 million. Manny Kays goes to the Originators at $17.9 mil. We do see some teams start to make moves. But, I mean, these relievers are still here. I mean, Wissell is somebody I do like quite a bit. There's a fastball 2-seamer and a 4-seam 2-seam curveball. I do like him a lot. I do wish he was a little cheaper, but he's an option. Kendrick Kerr is an option at just 22 years old. Pretty good all around. Pitches move a lot with 85 junk. Velocity's not terrible. Brosev we're going to watch as well. How did the numbers look for Kendrick Kerr? Not bad. The 1-4 record isn't great, but a 3.5 ERA, a 1.8 WHIP, and did not make the playoffs. But not terrible. About a strikeout an inning. 35 strikeouts in 36 innings, only walked 9. Not bad. And Joseph Brosev, a 3.18 ERA, and good numbers. I mean, even some of these players who are a B+, like Reardon or somebody like him, we'll add him to the board as well. But we are going to continue to sim, and there go a lot of players. Mallard goes to the Buzzards. Often goes to the B-Wolves. Hey, Frequin. That's actually a really good name for a pitcher. Goes to the Joyriders. There goes Deuce Jackson to the Freebooters. Beefcake McStevens to the Wild Pigs. Ace Von Ason to the... No, he's a division rival? Oh, man. We've got to pitch or face him probably a lot. That's going to be annoying. But there's the big round. 6 transactions made by other teams. But Wissell is still available. He drops his salary by $200,000. Kendrick Kerr is still available. I wish we ended up paying Tolbert a little bit more. That way we have more money to work with. But I'm also still trying to find a replacement for Hieronymus Jackson. That's not super expensive. I mean, I don't want to just have somebody on the roster to have somebody in the roster. I would like them to potentially be able to contribute in at least some way. but I just don't know how. Maybe I'm not gonna try to say that name, but maybe this girl Kara, 91 speed, Maddie Rags is another person who plays everywhere, so I'm not gonna go after her. But I mean, if we can get maybe like a speed specialist, like really fast, that could work. Volt Bolter, 96 speed. I wouldn't hate that. Did not mean to do that. But that could work. I mean, a lot of these guys are asking for a decent amount of money. Wally Bacon, 96 speed. I mean, if we want somebody cheap, there's Kara again. Man in Moon at 87 speed. That's pretty much all he does. He's got decent power. Yeah, maybe we go after, like, Bolter. He's older at 39, but with that speed, that's like a pinch runner. That could be very valuable. Also not terrible in the field. Actually kind of like that. He's also cheaper than Tremendo, but... or than Tremendo was. I don't know. Bolter would be a guy we have like 10 at-bats all year. Alright, Jackie's... wow, the B-Wolves, they just signed somebody else, didn't they? Oh, wow, B-Wolves spending big. Jackie Slam and Jaquez Often. Ron Guidry gets signed. Bautista goes to the Freebooters. Oh, there goes Steamboat Whistle, or Whistle. Okay. Not ideal. But I think we gotta go sign a reliever right now. To replace Tolbert. And it might be Kendrick Kerr. We compare Franco and Kerr. I mean, Franco, 62 velocity, 78 junk, 71 accuracy. So he throws a little, or pretty much the same. He's a little bit more accurate, although his junk's not as good. But I just saw this, the traits. Rally stopper, plus 10 to all skills, plus he's clutch. For a reliever in big spots, I would really like that. And then Kendrick Kerr obviously doesn't have that. And I mean, we've already seen what Perry Quaker has done with that clutch trait in Season 1. Ryder McBride is another guy who is clutch. Not quite as good, but he's another option. Having a reliever who's clutch is actually really good. I didn't even realize that. But I do like that combo for Franco. Rally stopper and clutch. He is a little expensive, which I don't love, but it might be worth it. Let's just see if there is anyone we can potentially try to get rid of to get cheaper. Not that I would really want to. We're not going to get rid of Charlie Best. The game... yeah, I mean... I think we wait a little bit and see if we can still get him. Let's see. There goes Bo Belter, Dolph Stake. There goes Jeff Bagwell. Alright. Still available so far after another 8 transactions. Clark continues to lower his asking salary. He only lowered it by 100,000, John Franco. Caden Downtown, down to 5 million. We could save an extra 5 million, or 500,000, if we go Rhodes for Downtown. I mean, they got the same contact, pretty similar, or the same power, pretty much the same contact. Downtown is faster, although Rhodes is a better fielder. but downtown has a stronger arm. I think we continue to let it go, but gonna keep an eye on that. All right, there goes Kendra Kerr. Downtown lowers again. Oh, dang it. There goes Franco. We waited too long. That is what I was afraid of. Bobby Bash with 99 power goes to Memo Tanks. Alright. Now we gotta figure out another plan. That is the one risk you run when you try to wait for somebody to get cheaper. Maybe it's Brosov. I mean, the relievers are probably getting a lot, not only worse, but a lot more limited. I mean, Reardon's not terrible. He is 40. With a K collector trait, could make him really good. So we got to be thinking Reardon or Brosov right now. Both are old, but that's okay. Although I do think our bullpen is a little older. I mean, outside of Farmhand, who's 20, yeah, our bullpen's on the older side, although, I mean, Best and Wilkinson aren't old, they're just not young. But we might go Jeff Reardon right here. And, you know, before we lose him too, we're going to do that. Jeff Reardon's going to come on to replace Carla Tolbert. That's what it's going to be right there. And we do have one more move we need to make. Bolter. Well, we can afford him exactly. But I do want to, obviously, have development funds. That would get rid of all of our money. I do think we might have to make a change or two. But let's wait another round. I don't think he's going to be somebody who goes that soon. Because he's not great. Unless somebody is specifically looking for somebody who's cheap and insanely fast, although it seems to be teams are just looking for players who are all around good. Downtown is still here. 22 transactions made in round 16. Bolter now at 4.7, lowered by 200,000. I just checked this way because I scrolled past him and I didn't want to scroll through another 20 transactions to find him. He's only a C+. We're going to keep waiting. Flip Vanderwink goes to the Heaters. Oh, there goes Downtown. Alright, we are waiting, it looks slightly too long. Jose Tremendo goes to Sawteeth for $8 million. There's Bolter, lowers by another 100,000. Tolbert goes to the Freebooters for, I think, the exact same salary, $5.8 million. So I don't want to wait too long. We've seen that happen already. But I mean, Bolter isn't great, so he's probably not going to go too soon. I mean, he's a C+. Right? Yeah, he's right here. And if we look at our team, we just wouldn't have many development funds. Which I guess is okay, although obviously you do want to develop guys. Payne is so expensive. That's something that's not as good. He is really expensive. We're going to keep waiting. If we can make it to round 20, that would be ideal. And then we'll go get him. Lowers by another 100,000. Alright, one more round. Hopefully he's still here. There he is. I want to try to keep going, but I mean, you've just got to go get him at some point. I mean, I don't love not having a ton of surplus to get development funds, and maybe we make a move throughout the season. Hey, you know what? Let's wait one more. No 2 transactions. Bolter's still available. See, now I think teams are realizing they're not great. The players left are not great, and they're slowing down on the moves. Like, the best player available right now is Brett Butler. 6.3 million. Hieronymus Jackson's still on the board. But a lot of the players available are either not great or older. Sandoval's still here. Alright, let's keep waiting. There goes Hieronymus Jackson. And his salary stays the same, so we might not get him to lower it anymore. So, here's where we're going to go make our move. Bolter is going to come to Moose to replace Tremendo. And it's not great, only having $600,000 left over. So we'll get 18,750 development funds per game, which is nothing. But I mean, hopefully we can still be able to develop players. And I mean, that's all the transactions, nothing else that notable. The best players still available. Sandoval's still available. $5 million. Oh man, we could have really, kind of cheesed the system. If we go get an extra $2.5 million right now and swap them back, that would be hilarious if we do that. Oh man, should we? That's an interesting question. Like, obviously I do think Mihiko is the better player. But it wouldn't be terrible. This guy Chase behind the plate wouldn't be terrible either. We're going to end the offseason right here. But we'll think about this and maybe we make a move before our first game of Season 2. But that is the off-season. We've got our team set for Season 2. Do we have any development right now? We do. So now, we could also just be very picky with what we choose to develop for players. And only spend it if we really have to. Although, we have to wait 20 games to get up to $900,000. But, I mean, all the players are fairly cheap in here. $500,000 this guy's asking for. That's crazy. But maybe we do bring back Reese Sandoval. I thought he'd actually get signed, but maybe we bring him back at some point. If we get tired of having no development funds. Or maybe we make a move and Sandoval comes in for, I don't know, maybe an Irene Fast who's on the older side. Because now we've got a fast replacement with Hanzo Magiko. And they got the same salary. Maybe that's the play. Because, I mean, I do love Irene Fast. She's very fast, good power, and had a good season. Hit 299, 11 homers, 22 RBIs. But the playoffs wasn't as good in terms of the power spot, with just 1 homer in 11 games. Plus, she's getting older. Maybe that's what we do. But I'll think about that, and maybe we do that in next video. But that's going to do it for this video. Next video will be the first game of Season 2. But that's that's it for the offseason. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications. I do my best to post as often as possible. Be sure to check out my main channel, Super Sports Central, link in the description of this video. But that's all for this video. I do my best to post as often as possible, and I will see you in the next video.